and welcome to Entrepreneur Talks podcast. So it's me here, Yalabash, and it's very cold, and I think my heart is upside down. I don't know how to do mirroring this. But anyway, so for today, I have an amazing lady with me. We're going to be talking about leadership genius. Are you ready? I'm so I'm freaking out with my hat, but let me put it back properly so I can introduce my guest. This is me, and you know me how I am, and I don't have any problems. Awesome. So I'm back. So let's welcome my guest. But before that, don't forget this podcast session that we are live today at LinkedIn and YouTube is going to be available on podcast platforms in a week or so. So if you want to re-listen this podcast, if you want to share with your friends, don't forget. And Women Flix is the owner of Entrepreneur Talks podcast, and we are here to empower financial freedom for women worldwide. So welcome to Veronica Matthews for today talk leadership genius. Let's welcome. Hello.
Hi. How are you, Yella?
I'm very well, thank you. And yourself?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you.
I love the fact that people straight away can see that we are not in the same country. I am under the
Yes.
light. I'm under the LED light, and you are under the sun or the bright light from the outdoors.
Yes.
Amazing. So, where are you talking from, Veronica?
I am coming to you live from the Washington, D.C. area. I'm in a suburb of Washington, D.C. in the United States, and
Wow,
actually District Heights, Maryland.
fantastic. So,
Yes.
as everyone knows, I'm in London, United Kingdom, and it's winter and it's cold and it's lovely. It's still beautiful. London's still beautiful even in the winter. Yes, but it's getting cold and cold. I don't know if we're going to be spending a Christmas with snow. Oh, it's lovely, but it's not funny sometimes.
No.
But it's not. It's not for that we are here. So, Veronica, let me ask you one thing.
Mhm.
In 3 words, can you describe yourself, or how you describe yourself?
In 3 words, I would say I am enlightenment and love and authenticity.
Fantastic. Light,
Mhm,
love, and authenticity.
mhm.
Wow, that's really powerful. Everyone brings 3 words powerfully in a powerfully way, which means that this is from you, is your nurture, and is beautiful. But why did you say it enlightful?
Yeah, so I selected enlightenment because one of the coaching programs that I completed, we completed something called an essence and also a life purpose. And my life purpose is, as distilled from that exercise, is enlightenment. And that is what I do even as a leadership coach and corporate trainer. I provide enlightenment, I provide wisdom and experience that individuals can draw from. And in that enlightenment, they're able to then use that to light their way to their path that they should be able to follow. So that was my reason for choosing enlightenment.
Fabulous. Beautiful. And so you just gave a little bit of what you do, but I want you to describe a little bit more. So I know you are a coach and you deal with leadership, enlightenment, and more. Tell me more about who is Veronica and what she does.
Well, thank you. So I am Veronica Matthews. I am founder and chief leadership coach of VLM, my initials, Coaching and Consulting Services, where I support leaders, typically through working with organizations to bring that leadership development and training support so that the organization, the leaders, and the teams can
Mm,
be powerful and actually be productive, and the organization can ward off those challenges that sometimes happen with poor leadership, which is high turnover, low engagement. I help to bring resources and value to them so that they can ward those off and actually have strong leaders and strong organizations. And my coaching and consulting background came through from human resources. And as a human resources professional, the what I gravitated to the most was employee relations. And through those employee
mhm.
relations problems, I realized that many of them existed because of I wouldn't say poor, I'll call it inadequate or ineffective leadership. And that caused trauma to a lot of employees. And I said to myself, once I discovered that coaching was the direction I wanted to go into, I can do that here, or I can do that throughout
Yeah.
my area, or I can do that throughout the country, or I can do it throughout the world. And I chose the latter because I think it's just so important that there is effective leadership so that the employees are not damaged and the organization can be its very best.
Yes, that's
Right.
is essential, right? Essential to have that kind of leadership. And thank you so much for that intro, for that introduction explanation about it. And when it comes to self leadership, what does mean for an entrepreneur?
Yeah. Okay. So for an entrepreneur, well, let me take a step back and how I would define leadership, self
Leadership.
leadership. I am looking at it through the lens of emotional intelligence. When I consider that emotional intelligence, if you are a student of emotional intelligence like myself, emotional intelligence is really the self portion and then the others portion. The self portion is the self awareness and the, excuse me, the self regulation. And so if you're if you tie that to self leadership then is knowing who you are, what your strengths are, what your
Wow.
weaknesses are, what your values are, and then authentically showing up in a way in every circle that you're in whomever you interact with in a way that's authentic to who you are, not only today but who you want to be and what you're growing into. And so what that means for an entrepreneur is that self leadership is your ability to govern yourself in a way that other people want to follow, and that you have an idea, you have a service, you, as an entrepreneur, you're showing up in a way that people know your values and what you bring to the table. And then they also know what direction you're going in and what value you can offer to whomever you serve.
Wow, that's powerful. Wow. How long you been doing this work with the organizations, mostly with the organizations as you mentioned? How long you been doing?
Yeah, so my human resources career, throughout that, I was doing the coaching and training, and it was just on a smaller scale, right? It was just with that particular organization. And then I took my first coaching course, courtesy of, if she's listening, Pamela Green, and I fell in love with coaching and started my LLC in 2016. But I don't know that I ever intended to be a full time coach and trainer.
Wow.
And so I was working full time, and then life happened in 2017, and I got released from a job. And I said, okay, well, God must be telling me that this is my time to actually do what I do. And I came out of the gate initially wanting to support women who were going through transition. And then
Mm,
I had a light bulb moment to say, wait a minute, why are you forgetting at that point it was just 25 years of experience in human resources to focus on women. Yes, I do have a heart and a passion for supporting women, but I didn't want to leave that behind.
Yeah.
What my bread and butter was basically. So I have been working with organizations in the capacity of a leadership development coach and corporate trainer for at least the last 5 years.
Wow.
As a full-time entrepreneur now for about 18 months.
Well done, Veronica. That's amazing. How do you feel about, because you said 2016 you start to feel and then you change, and in 2017 you had that change again, the bulb talked to you, but now that you are 18 months in a row self-employed, how do you feel about your dream? I'm so happy for you, but I want to hear about it.
So if I told you, so to be honest with you, I'm super scared. I'm super excited, but I'm also super scared because it is just me. It's me and my dream and my vision and my hope to transform organizations. And I kind of feel like I'm here over in like a little corner, and I'm not yet the flower that has blossomed to be able so that other people know who I am. So that's why I so appreciate the opportunity of being on your podcast to be introduced to more people so that they see my light and they see what I have to offer, and they'll be interested in potentially working with me. So I am excited about what I know I can do and what I'm capable of doing,
People,
my desire to do. But I'm also a little nervous about it.
I
It's kind of
understand.
because it is
Makes
me.
sense.
And so, with the idea of wanting to scale, it's like I want to be able to do that appropriately and kind of having the right teaming partners and all of that in order to be able to get that full vision of dream where I'm supporting multiple organizations at a time, and I have a team of coaches and a team of trainers that are working with me.
That's a wonderful. And is one of the things that I can say regarding the growth of a company, of a business, like our businesses, is never forget where we're coming from, and continuously continue to be humble, because it's important to be able to carry on.
Yeah.
Because I totally understand when you say I'm scared, because it's a little, it's a lot of, it's quite scary, because we know that our, it's not about our dream, but our mission is being seen, and is working, and is working because we did our best to be on the spot, and now we need to handle properly. That's really
Yeah.
cool.
Absolutely. And if your dream doesn't scare you, you need to get a new dream, first of all. And then if your dream is just about you, you need to get a new dream, because if you're not in the opportunity to change lives and make transformation and have that be a bigger impact than just you, then that's why we're all here. We're all here for a purpose, and our purpose
Mm,
is not just to serve us, but it is to serve others. And that's what I do.
fantastic. Thank you so much for that wise words. And now, another question I have for you regarding your business is, what does an entrepreneur that wants to scale, expand, need to know before hiring employees?
Yeah. And so with that, I talked about the self leadership, and that is about knowing who you are, what your values are, what you do best. When you know that, that's the one thing that there's several things that an entrepreneur needs to know before they try to add other people to the puzzle. Because if you're not sure on what your mission is, what your purpose is, what your values are, then you are not going to be able to attract those into your business that want the same things in support
Mm,
of what you're doing. And so when you know what your values are, then you're able to get teaming partners and employees and business partners and consultants that share that vision and share that dream and that are willing to get behind it and willing to support it as it is if it were their own. and
Absolutely.
and that is important to do. So you want that foundation there first. You want your mission, your vision, your values to be known to you, and then you want to interview individuals and determine if they match that, and be okay with, yes, it's not, I don't really think it's a good fit for us, and be okay with saying that. Yeah, it's not the right time now, or whatever the situation may be. And oftentimes that comes from a gut feeling, but you also need to know and back it up with actual proof and validation through the
Yeah.
questions that you ask in an interview. And also, you want to be able to know what you need from in your business. I read a book, I think it's by Gay Hendricks, and it talks about the various zones. So there's a zone of incompetence, there's a zone of competence, there's a zone of excellence, I think, and then there's a zone of genius. And yeah, obviously we flow, we do well in our zone of genius. We want to be able to know that we are adding people to our team that support the levels of incompetence, competence, and excellence that we have, so that we don't have to do those things. We can focus on what it is that we do well and do best. So if an entrepreneur is looking to scale, they want to make sure that they know themselves, who they are, what their values are, and then they also want to know what they need and be willing to make that match in a way that is authentic to them.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. While you were talking, you mentioned something that just is stuck here in my mind, about the when you hire someone, you need to be able to say no, like this doesn't fit into my mission, my goals, and etc. Um, but I just remember myself when I was applying for jobs a couple of years ago, and you know that feeling that, okay, I receive an email saying that you're not, oh, I'm sorry, unfortunately we didn't choose you. But normally people don't give you a reason.
Hmm.
Do you think this is a good leadership in terms of, because mostly I can't remember a business telling me, oh, we didn't choose you because no, actually I had one. And I don't know how many, I had one, but I can remember that they explained to me that my my uh, my profile doesn't go into their mission or vision, or something like explain more in detail, because normally they just send, I think is a copy paste the same email. Unfortunately, we know you're not the same, suitable for our for our job description, and that's it. And I feel so sad on that times. I remember, because frustrated, because I don't know exactly why you didn't choose me.
Hmm.
And how do you feel about this?
Hmm. So there's a lot with that, and as an HR professional, we're trained in the way to be able to let a person down in to let them know that they weren't selected for the position in the most generic way possible,
Mm,
which is in protection of the company. That at this
yeah,
time we've decided to pursue other candidates or another candidate. And what I always admired is those individuals that would email me back and say, if there is any feedback that you have for me, could you let me know so that I could be better for the next time? And I would do my best in protection of the company and of myself, but in a way to let the person know if I did have any feedback. A lot of the times, it really isn't anything that person did to kick them out of the process. It's just that another person was better.
better.
And
Oh,
so that still doesn't feel good hearing or being able to say,
reading.
Yeah, receiving. And so what I would do, I would basically let them know that, it really wasn't you, it was really that another person was better. And that still is not specific feedback to help them. But there often is a time where a person may not have written very well, or they may have gotten flustered and didn't answer a question appropriately. And in those particular cases, if that did exist, I would do my best to, again, protecting myself and the company, provide them with some feedback that would be helpful.
Mm,
Maybe the next time, that, so what happened was, when you got to this particular question, it really didn't give us the idea that you really knew what was going on there. So it sounds like that is something that maybe you could continue to brush up on before you have your next interview, right? And so, as an entrepreneur, and you're letting a person know that when they're interviewing with your company, or maybe you're going through the process and you're trying to add people to your team, if it you have what you need, which is a position description, and you know what you are looking for as far as alignment with
mm,
values and systems and work from that person. And if you're not moving forward with the person, you want to protect your business and your organization, so you would just let them know, at this time we're not going to be moving forward with your candidacy. And then, if they ask for specifics, if there is a specific item of concern that you have, then you can say, my job, I need a person that is able to, write clear, concise emails. And in the writing sample that you provided, I was looking for something stronger, something to that.
mm.
And so it is a protection of the organization and of the brand. And it's also giving the person a little bit of feedback that could be helpful to help them in their continued search. And it is a fine line to walk. And, as an HR consultant, advising a person, I would typically say, just say that you're moving on with another candidate. And then there is usually, if you're a small business, you may have some connection already, or know that person through a referral. And in that
Um,
particular case, there potentially is another level of comfort that you have with that person, to be able to, if you're willing to, go the extra mile and tell them a little bit of developmental feedback. That would be helpful. But again, you do want to look out for your brand and protect your organization. And giving the vanilla answer sometimes is the best.
it's the best. Okay, now I understood more because I know that for sure some people that is listening our podcast today, or even they're going to be listening, they will recognize this question I did, because it is a lot of entrepreneurs or a lot of people that applies for the job and then receive that basic generic email and don't understand why they don't explain more. And now I got it. One of the main things is to protect our company,
Mhm.
and right, is that what
Yes.
you said? I understand.
Mhm.
Yes, so it's important. Thank you so much, Veronica.
Mhm.
Very, very helpful. That's really, really, really helpful for me, at least right now. I feel like more. Oh, I wish I could hear that when I was applying for jobs.
And for those employees that are listening and applying for positions, don't be afraid to email the recruiter and say, can we have a conversation, or can you tell me any developmental feedback? And many times they won't feel comfortable giving it, but in some cases, if they are, what I would do when I was in that position is, I would say, okay, I'm not talking to you as a representative of the company. I'm talking to you as a mentor. And in this particular
Mm,
case, I do want to provide you with some developmental feedback. So I'm not member of XYZ company right now. I'm just letting you know the feedback. So don't be afraid to ask for it. And every once in a while, you'll get a someone that'll put you and in what your intention is, and in service of that, they'll be able to support and provide developmental feedback.
That's really powerful. Thank you so much once again. And now I'm going to be asking you my last questions because otherwise we're going to be here forever, which I love it. I'm enjoying a lot this conversation. I'm learning so much. Really powerful, full of tips and tricks to, to use to ourselves or our employees as well. So, Veronica, and how business owners build positive cultures for their employees?
Yes. And so I love this question because it's what I do, as a leadership coach and a corporate trainer. And so, what organizations can do to build a positive culture is to actually take a look at what they're doing, right? So if they're looking at their leaders, and are my leaders being as effective as they need to be? What support can I offer my leaders? And and you might say, well, why not the whole company? Why not all of the employees? Because it's a trickle down effect. It's like that waterfall. It's the executive, the C-suite, and then it's the leaders, and then it's the employees, right? And so if you're looking at your C-suite and your leaders, then it impacts the employees as a result. So what they can do is
Right.
say, are we as effective as we need? And if we're missing something, what are we missing, and how can we fill those gaps? And then in filling those gaps, get the support, invest in coaches and trainers, and or create internally, grow up people internally. And oftentimes that does happen through training, but help the people internally to be able to embody the core values of the organization, be consistent with what you say you are and who you are. I actually, one of my first clients as a training assignment was an organization that had really strong core values, and one of my services to them was to show the leaders how to lead through those core values, and that was really effective for them. And I think that they
Mm,
they already embodied that, and then it was just so supportive for them to know that, okay, these are some of the ways in which I can do that. So positive culture comes through being consistent with the core values, having the leaders know those core values and live through those core values and lead through those core values in a way that fosters positive employee engagement. It fosters positive the feedback loop, right? So that the feedback is both positive and developmental, so that employees know where they stand within the organization and how they're performing. And it also comes with being able to walk the talk. So, not for being a diverse organization that is committed to servicing and supporting all employees, and being concerned about the total employee and not just what they're doing from 9 to 5, but that mental well being as well.
that's awesome. It's very important. Very good. Very good. Thank you so much, Veronica, for your presence at our podcast and this powerful conversation, as I mentioned before. And I would like you to, how I say this, I would like to ask you, no, it's no asking, it's just for you to mention where people can talk or how can get in touch with you and which platforms they can find you.
hmm Great. So you can get in touch with me. My email address is Veronica at vlmcoaching.com. My website is www.vlmcoaching.com. I am on Instagram and Facebook at VLM Coaching, also on Twitter, but I don't use Twitter very much. But at VLM Coaching. And then on LinkedIn, I am Veronica L. Matthews.
Thank you so much. And for everyone that just heard Veronica, on the description of this session, there is all the profiles and links and websites for Veronica to get in touch. The only thing that is not there, which I believe, is the email. I normally don't add the email to the description because I think it's more people can find you on social media. If you mention on the recording, totally fine. But I don't. I feel like it's not my. I'm not gonna place the emails there. So get in touch with Veronica through LinkedIn or any other platforms on social media or the website, and straight away she will receive your information and get in touch. Do you have any discovery call or for the organization for your coaching program?
Yes, I do. There is a link on my website to be able to schedule a complimentary discovery call. So,
Mhm.
for that organization that is looking for training and development for their leaders, or maybe you're an individual leader and want to get in touch and talk about a strategy for how to lead effectively, particularly in this hybrid environment, then I am definitely open to offering a complimentary session.
Fantastic. Thank you so much once again. I
Thank
hope
you.
you continuously to grow your business. You've been self-employed, totally self-employed, right, for the last 18 months, and continue like that. Shine, shine, shine like a diamond more and more, empowering these companies and these people. It's not about the company has a name, but it's about people inside that
Yes,
company, right?
absolutely.
So continue to bring that leadership strategies and be blessed. That's what I wish for you, Veronica. And once again, thank you for your presence.
Thank you. Thank you, Yola. It's been a pleasure chatting with you, and I so appreciate the opportunity to be able to speak with you about how leaders can get their leadership genius and how entrepreneurs can be effective in leadership as well.
That's so good. Thank you so much. I just remember myself that I should ask you. You see, this is me. I keep saying my last question, but I have one more for you. if you, if you, let's say that if you would be an entrepreneur today, uh, starting your business, what advice would you do as a coach as you are?
Okay. So if you're an entrepreneur starting your business today, I would say the tribe that you associate with is very important. So that means that you might need to consider getting a mentor, that someone who has done this before, and do your research with that, and that are they in the industry that you want to serve, and if so, who can you talk to in there that can share their story. You also want to get a coach, because there's so much that you don't know, and a business coach, I'm not just talking about a leadership coach, a business coach would help you to know what areas you want to, what systems and structures you want to set up. SCORE, SCORE.org is a great resource for providing support in setting that up. You also want to then talk and get that self leadership piece and know what your strengths are, what your values are, what you want to
Your
offer.
mission? Hmm.
Yes, yes. Get that all solid. And then when you discover in your assessment and you know what your strengths are, what you do well, you want to be able to ask for help or get support in those areas that you're not strong in, and
Mm.
be okay that this business is going to be an investment, and it's an investment in yourself, and it's an investment in your future, and just take it slow. Get the resources and the support that you need. Score is a free resource, so you can get lots of support that way. And then also make sure that you have the that you talk to yourself in a way that is positive and uplifting, and watch how you might leak your power and what you do, what you say, and what you believe, what you think, and then just have fun and take it slow. So that would be
Amen.
my advice for new
Thank
entrepreneurs.
you so much. That was wonderful, powerful. I love it. Especially the last ones, the last part of this sentence was whew, powerful. Thank you so much, Veronica. God bless you and take care. Okay.
Thank you. Happy holidays, Giovanna. Thank you.
You too. Bye bye. Okay, everyone. I hope you enjoyed my conversation with Veronica Matthews, a leadership genius. So don't forget, make sure you take some notes. If you didn't have the chance to watch this from the beginning, go to our YouTube or platforms for podcasts, which is we are on iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, Google. Is much more. So if I can't remember everything in my head, but I know there is more that is available. So subscribe to our podcast. Join us if you want to be our guest. I'm just going to leave you here my email at the bottom of my video. So send me an email. Tell me, Yola, I want to be a guest on your podcast. Give me a description a little bit, not a big one, but just a simple bio why you want to be a guest on our podcast. We always welcome entrepreneurs from around the world which are willing to bring their story to empower and inspire others. So thank you everyone for watching. Stay blessed. Have a lovely weekend and see you next week. Bye bye. Okay, I'm